Three big trades happened in the NFL this year. I break them down and tell you how they affect the 2021 season. Welcome to Hide and Seek Media Sports Edition. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time to the channel, here at Hide and Seek Media, we just break down current events, sports, politics, just whatever's going on in the news. Give my opinion, and then if you want to leave a comment down below, please do, and we can discuss whatever you would like to discuss. I am free and open to all discussion, so leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new video, and let's get into it. So, 3 trades in the NFL this year that can really rock the 2021 season. Alright? 2020 was a crazy year. No fans in the stadiums. I don't know if they're going to have fans in the stadiums this year or not. But it was really, really difficult to watch the NFL in 2020. With no fans in the stadium and knowing that it was fake crowd noise. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this mic situated. So, and knowing it was fake crowd noise the whole time, it just kind of ruined it for me, So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot of the NFL last year. Plus, with all the wokeness interjected to all the games and being shoved down everyone's throat, it didn't seem that entertaining last year, really. So I didn't watch a whole lot, but I did still pay some attention to the NFL, and I've been paying attention this season, so we're going to break down 3 trades that have happened this season so far that could really change the face of the NFL and could really change what happens this season. So let's get into it. All right. So the first trade I want to talk about is the Jared Goff-Matt Stafford trade. All right. So the Matt Stafford was drafted by the Lions, and man, that guy, he really gave them a fair shot, gave them everything he could, right? Gave that organization everything he could, and really tried to get them into the playoffs, over the hump, to become one of those perennial playoff teams. They had Megatron at one point, okay? When you have Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson on your offense, okay, it should be easy to attract more free agents to your team. But the city of Detroit and the Lions organization failed to do that, just like they did with Barry Sanders. And so they lose out on another perennial superstar who could, support the team on their shoulders. So Stafford was like, I'm done. I want out. I have had it with Detroit. I've given you everything I can. It's time for me to move on to greener pastures, right? So the LA Rams bit on this, and they got a hell of a deal for what they gave up for Stafford, not having to carry all of his contract, and it was a couple of first-round picks they gave up for him, but sticking Detroit with that dead money is really, really was the smart move there for LA, because they still leave themselves some cap space, and can kind of put a couple of pieces around Stafford in the offseason, free agent-wise, and, the lights up. So, this is Lions Wire USA Today, breaking down the details of the Stafford trade. Basically, it looks like, if we get down to the nitty-gritty details of it, Detroit traded Stafford to the Rams, right? And the Lions, in return, got Jared Goff, a 3rd-round choice, which will be either 101 or 103, based on where it falls in the 3rd round, because it's a compensatory pick, right? So it's not the Rams' actual 3rd-round pick. It's a compensatory pick. So it could be 101 or 103, depending on where it falls. A first-round pick, the first-round pick for 2022, and a first-round pick for 2023. Those could be very, very crucial to the Lions in the next 2 years, especially if the Rams don't succeed with Matt Stafford like everyone thinks they will. So this could benefit the Rams long term, or not the Rams. I'm sorry. It could benefit the Lions long term, but in the short term, this deal really hurt them. Okay, so as you know, it says as for contracts, Goff is going to be getting $25,650,000 in 2021, all of which is guaranteed except for $650,000, right? So that's $25 million guaranteed the Lions are going to have to pay Jared Goff in 2021. Well, guess what? They are also on the hook for $33 million of dead cap money for trading Matt Stafford's contract away. So that's $58 million that the Lions are spending on a quarterback in 2021, on Jared Goff, okay, in 2021. That's more than Patrick Mahomes makes, okay? So if that doesn't tell you just, to me it seems like the Lions are trying to play the long game here and are going to have to eat it in the short end to play the, to get to that. Because, they had to give Matt Stafford that big contract a few years ago to keep him. Couldn't just let him walk, right? So you had to keep him there and try to get a couple more pieces, but you didn't structure the contract the right way, and now you're going to have to eat dead cap money, and that sucks, right? So, but putting Stafford at the LA Rams with a good defense, okay, a decent offense, and a good offensive mind in Sean McVay, right? So I'm really interested to see what the Rams do, although they play in a division that I watch very closely in the NFC West. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So make sure to stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button. But moving on to the next trade, all right. So I think Stafford is really gonna help improve the Rams' offense, right? As long as they can keep him upright. I'm not sure about how that offensive line is, and we'll see. All right. So next we're going to talk about the Sam Darnold trade to Carolina. The Carolina Panthers traded 3 picks, I believe, to the Jets for Darnold. They received number 3 overall. The Jets received a 6th rounder in 2021, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th rounder in 2022. So the Jets really didn't get a lot for Sam Darnold. They could have gotten a little more, I think, if they would have, shopped him a little bit more. I like Darnold going to Carolina. That made it a really good move. I like that move. With him and McCaffrey, if they put a wide receiver or two, and I think they've got a couple of decent wide receivers. And they've got P.J. Walker there as a backup, so they could trade Teddy Bridgewater or just release him, and that would be fine either way. But I was never really sold on Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback in the NFL, anyways. So when they picked him up, I thought it was more of a kind of like a sympathy thing, like, oh well, we'll give him a shot and see what happens and try it out, right? And it failed. Right, they moved on from Teddy Bridgewater halfway through the season. I think it was P.J. Walker was playing the rest of the year. So, but yeah, it doesn't look like the Jets got a whole lot in return for Darnold. So I don't know. I kind of like the move, but to me, it looks like Saleh may be stocking up for draft picks because they've got the number 2 pick, so they can easily draft another quarterback, which they're probably going to do. So it looks like he's trying to stock up on draft picks to maybe try to rebuild a Seattle-type team in New Jersey, with the Jets. I could see that. I could see the Jets even maybe skipping over Zach Wilson and going for Justin Fields, maybe more of a Russell Wilson-type as quarterback where you could really implement a Seattle-style offense and defense. And really shake up the AFC West or the AFC East over there. It could be interesting to see what Saleh does with these picks. I think he could have gotten a little more for Darnold, but I'm still interested to see what he does. So, but Sam Darnold with the Carolina Panthers, I really like that move. I really like that pairing. I'm interested to see what happens. They could be a force to reckon with in the NFC South. So it'll be interesting to see. Um, but don't count the Jets out. I mean, Saleh, he's a smart coach, and he could really. I really think he could, install the Seattle 2.0, if you will, in the AFC East. So we'll see. But those are the two of the three trades that have happened this year that I think are really going to impact. Okay, so that brings us to the third trade of our trio here, and that is the 49ers traded to number 3 to draft a quarterback in the 2021 draft. It says a lot about their confidence with Jimmy Garoppolo going forward. I would say they're confident with him in this season, but going forward past this season, due to his health injury, his health risks and injury prone, it's I can see where Shanahan's going. And Jimmy's not as mobile as Shanahan would like as a quarterback. He found that out when he had Robert Griffin, and Kirk Cousins was a little more mobile than Matt Ryan, right? And so I think that's what he was really looking for was Kirk Cousins, but he ended up having to settle with Jimmy Garoppolo, and so they were satisfied with him for the interim until they could get a quarterback coming out of the draft, and I think this is exactly why they're moving up to number 3. Problem is, there is a bad history of teams moving up into the top 5 to draft a quarterback, okay? So, here in this article, it says, trading into the top 3 in the NFL draft to select a quarterback has been a perilous proposition over the last decade. Well, that's true, right? And let's look at some of the quarterbacks that they're talking about. Okay, 2018, Jets traded up to get Sam Darnold at number 3. Well, Sam Darnold just got traded from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers. We just talked about that earlier on. So I don't know why they weren't. I don't know why the Jets traded him. I think it's because of a new. Oh, I said why. So, they're just trying to start a new team. So that one I kind of don't hold against Sam Darnold near as much as the next one, 2017, Mitch Trubisky. So the next one down on the list is 2017, and that was the Bears traded up to number 2 to get Mitchell Trubisky. Now remember, they traded from number 3 to number 2 and they traded to the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, so the 49ers moved from 2 to 3 and got like 2 or 3 more draft picks out of the Bears, right? For the Bears to move up and draft Mitchell Trubisky. Now remember, if you don't remember, I'll tell you right now. 2017 was the draft in which the 49ers then took Solomon Thomas at number 3. Okay, while there was still Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes on the board. All right, so it wasn't just the Bears that jacked up the 2017 trade or the 2017 draft and the trade in that top 5 move there. It was also the 49ers, but I kind of write that one off because it was John Lynch's first year as GM, and Solomon Thomas had all the measurables. He just didn't have the mentality. Okay, he didn't have that Nick Bosa mentality, that I'm going to eat you all day mentality. And that's what the Niners need in that kind of defense. All right? So then we talk about 2016, right? 2016, number 1 pick, Jared Goff. Just traded. We just talked about him too. He was just traded to the Lions for Matt Stafford. He was a number 1 pick. Matt Stafford was a number 1 pick as well. So you go number 1 for number 1, but the Lions ended up getting more picks for Stafford than the Rams got for Goff. So, and then you got 2016. The Eagles traded up number 2 for Carson Wentz. They have now moved on from Carson Wentz, and he is now an Indianapolis Colt. Okay, and now 2012, you had Washington traded up to number 2 for Robert Griffin III, and who was out of the league in 5 years or 6 years, whatever. It was not very long. Okay, so it's very, very risky, obviously, moving up into the top 5 to draft a quarterback. But I think this draft class of quarterbacks, there's 3 can't miss quarterbacks in the top 5. But I do like Mac Jones, and I think that's who the Niners are going to pick at number 3 is Mac Jones. Wouldn't surprise me. I think he really fits Shanahan's offense well, and with that young core of wide receivers, oh man, you talk about a healthy Deebo Samuel, a healthy Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert. Okay, you got all of these weapons on the offense, a solid offensive line. Okay, I really like the 49ers moving forward, even if they don't draft a quarterback. I really like them moving forward, but they do need to beef up that secondary. That's what I was really hoping before they moved to number 3. When they were at number 12, I was really hoping they were going to go for a top end corner, somebody who could shut down one half of the field, because they don't have Sherman no more, and he was getting old and lost a step anyways. And the guy really needs to move to safety, but. So hopefully they use a couple of those later draft picks in the 2nd and 3rd round to pick up, a couple of corners, because that's what they desperately need. A couple of corners and another outside linebacker, and that defense would be solid. I have no problems with the front offensive or the defensive line. So, and Fred Warner will have those linebackers ready to go. I have no doubt. Okay, it's the back end, the secondary that's really suspect on the 49ers right now. But getting back to the quarterbacks, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have a decent year, but I don't think the 49ers are sold on him in the future, and that's why they've moved up to number 3 to draft a quarterback. I just hope they pick the right one. So if you've made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the video, what you think about the trades, and the upcoming NFL season. And I will catch y'all later.